Our story moves from the fire of Jaurès's convictions into the quiet, carpeted halls of the Élysée Palace, where Felix Faure, elected in 1895 as a compromise candidate who offended no one, presides over a nation on the brink of tearing itself apart. When the Dreyfus affair began to dominate public life, Felix Faure adopted the position that the case was chose jugée, already judged. He refused to reopen it, refused to consider new evidence, and refused to challenge the army. He was cautious and believed that the Republic could not withstand another scandal. Where Jaurès and the Dreyfusards saw truth as the Republic's salvation, Faure saw it as a threat. But the telegram naming Esterhazy had changed everything. Suddenly the possibility of a miscarriage of justice could no longer be dismissed. Yet Faure held firm. He believed that revisiting the case would destabilise France even more, and so he became, unintentionally, one of the affair's great obstacles. This is Metro Stop Podcast, and I'm your host, Kelly Blair. Felix Faure is a station on Line 8 in the 15th arrondissement, opened in July 1937. It is one of 3 stations named after a French president. Faure's early life was modest. Born in 1841 to a furniture maker, he built his fortune in Le Havre as a tanner and a merchant before entering politics. He was shrewd, ambitious, and skilled at navigating the moderate Republican circles of the Third Republic. But he was not a visionary. He preferred ceremony to conflict, stability to reform. Faure became President of the Republic in January 1895, just weeks after Alfred Dreyfus was convicted. He was elected because he was seen as safe and predictable. He had no strong enemies. He was acceptable to both moderate Republicans and Conservatives. He was not a reformer. He was not interested in challenging institutions. He was not associated with any major scandals. Yet, at least. Faure's presidency begins at the exact moment the affair becomes a closed case. He inherits the political consequences without having ever been involved in the original trial. He wanted calm, and the Dreyfus affair threatened that. He wanted the affair to go away. During Faure's presidency, the Esterhazy acquittal shocks the public and the army closes ranks. Zola publishes J'accuse and is tried for libel and exiled, and the publication sparks pogroms and violence in major cities. Jean Jaurès addresses the House of Deputies. The far right and the anti-Dreyfusard movement begin to gain ground. Faure presided over this climate. He did not intervene. He did not push for transparency. He did not challenge the army. His priority was stability, even if it meant ignoring a miscarriage of justice. Felix Faure's presidency was influenced as much by the world beyond France as by the turmoil within it. As Minister of Colonies and of Marine, he oversaw the French conquest of Madagascar, expanded the nation's colonial reach. This was a big ticket in France at the time, obsessed with empire and naval power. He also helped cement the Franco-Russian alliance. This was a really big deal. Faure hosted Tsar Nicholas II in Paris in 1896 and visited Russia in 1897. These visits cemented their alliance, which later became the backbone of the Allied powers in World War I. It was a diplomatic achievement that would shape Europe for decades. In the 1890s, these were milestones that defined a statesman. And when the Paris Metro was built, his name was added to the map, not for moral courage, but for the political stature. Faure represented the Republic as it wanted to see itself, orderly, dignified, and stable. But the Dreyfus affair revealed the cracks beneath that facade. Felix Faure is not a hero of the Dreyfus affair, because this season isn't really about heroes. It's about the Republic, its contradictions, its fractures, and its illusions. On the night of the 16th of February 1899, Faure collapses suddenly in the Elysee. The cause of death was officially a heart attack, but it is known, scandalously, that he was having sex with his mistress at the time. Marguerite Steinheil was that mistress. A woman who moved through Belle Epoque Paris as a society hostess with the volatility of someone forever skirting the edge of scandal. Born into bourgeois respectability, she learned from an early age how to perform charm, intellect, and social fluency. That carried her into the orbit of powerful men, including, fatefully, President Felix Faure. And it's precisely that closeness to influence that made her later notoriety so irresistible to the press. Her elegance and ambition masked deep personal instability. Her husband and mother were found tied up and dead in her apartment. Marguerite claimed that she was a survivor of a home invasion by masked robbers who were looking for documents relating to the Dreyfus affair that Felix Faure had entrusted her with. This was all lies, and she became suspect number one. Her alleged involvement in the deaths of her husband and her mother led the Libre Parole, the right-wing anti-Semitic newspaper, to falsely accuse her of poisoning the president, and she was put on trial in 1909 and acquitted. But even the judge had called her a liar. Whether murderess, opportunist, or tragic figure, the manipulator who could cry victim, she became a national obsession, the embodiment of France's fascination with female criminality at a moment when gender, morality and justice were already being challenged. Her story turned her into a cultural symbol. She died in 1954, and the blend of glamour, scandal and that true crime connection, I absolutely had to mention her. So Felix Faure's death created a power vacuum, and during his funeral, the anti-Dreyfusards attempted to seize power. The coup fails almost immediately, but this act alone completely discredited the movement and exposed its willingness to use force. His death removed the greatest political barrier to revisiting the Dreyfus case and opened the door to the final confrontation. Felix Faure spent his presidency trying to hold the Republic together by keeping the Dreyfus affair at arm's length. He feared that reopening the case would shatter France, as if truth were a threat rather than a remedy. His death left a vacuum, not just in politics, but in moral direction. The Republic had leaders who had feared instability, but it lacked voices who believed the nation could be better than its fears. And into that silence stepped a writer, not a politician, not a general, but a man who believed that humanity must come before institutions. Where Faure saw danger in confronting justice, Anatole France saw danger in refusing to. He would become the conscience that the Republic had been missing. That's next time on Metro Stop Podcast. My main source for the Dreyfus affair was a video by Sam Aronow. Biographies are from Britannica, and I've listed all other sources in the show notes. Music by Alex Productions.